Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast for conscious, cycle-breaking parents ready to turn toddler tantrums into teachable moments. Hi, I'm Cara Tyrrell, a lifetime lover of littles, mom to 2 grown and flown girls, and an early childhood educator. Through the show, I teach you my collaborative parenting methodology for nurturing your little human's mind, body, and spirit. Because how you connect and collaborate in the first 5 years is how you raise happy, healthy kids who grow into the best version of themselves and find true success in school and life. Welcome back to the show. Today we're talking triggers. And they come at you all day, every day. I often talk about your toddler or your preschooler, your school-age kiddo, right? The triggers that they bring at you and how you need to sit inside a level of self-awareness and hijack that reaction. Today, I want to share a real-life story with you that's happening right now in my life, and it has nothing to do with kids, but has everything to do with me. Because you are the person who fields the trigger. If you think of it in a sports analogy, right? That ball, that trigger has been thrown to you, and it's up to you how you then manage the ball and return it. What type of energy you allow it to bring to you, and what type of energy you infuse into it when you send it back. So this is what's happening in my life right now. First of all, a little framework for you. I live in southern Vermont. You know my kids are grown and flown. It's me and my husband. We're empty nesters. And in this beautiful house that we have, which is an 1868 farmhouse, I have a bay window. And the bay window overlooks this huge field, our front field, we call it, instead of our front yard, because we used to farm this field when we had a little CSA here. But we are in town, if you will. We're set out, but we're in town, so there's a road that abuts it. And so lately, I've been getting on the elliptical in the morning, and I get going, and I'm looking out, and the nature is inspiring me. And this couple, who's recently moved to town, don't know where they are, walk their dog every day. Great, lots of people walk their dog up that little road hill that's really nice to go up. But they have decided that our yard is their yard. They have decided that training their dog, not just the dog, literally their bodies, walk into our field and train their dog and run their dog and let him go to the bathroom. And the first time I saw it, I was shocked. That tends to be my go-to reaction. I am a shock and awe reactor. So before I go on with the story, let's break down the types of reactions that human beings have. The way our brain is just wired. I know you've heard about the lizard brain and how our ancestors had to have the ability to keep themselves safe in the world, alive, literally. So that's where you hear fight or flight. But there are 2 more reactions that we are naturally inclined to as human beings, depending on how our brain is wired. So there's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Okay, back to my story. A fight reaction would be run out, get off my elliptical, run outside and yell, "Get off my lawn." That's so rude. What do you think you're doing? Incidentally, that's what my husband wants to do. His reaction is all fight. Indignation and fight. A flight reaction really doesn't apply here, right? A flight reaction means I remove myself from the situation. So if your toddler is kicking you and you remove yourself, I'm going to keep myself safe. I'm going to move to a different part of the room. I'm going to go in a different room. That's a flight reaction. Or run away is what we often say, right? Then there's fight, flight, and then there's freeze. Freeze is what I did. That shock and awe reaction where I was just observing the moment, but equally indignant, equally like, whoa, what's going on here? Am I really seeing what I'm seeing? That's a freeze reaction. Fawn means you have actually processed the trigger and what's happening around you as a result of it. And you just kind of shrink and say, oh, okay, probably I can't make a difference anyway, so I'll just let the behavior continue. So there's the 4 triggers and how we manage them. So here's what's so interesting about my reaction. I automatically go as a very self-aware, conscious human being, not just parent, as someone who's worked deeply on personal development and understanding who I am and how I interact with the world, I automatically go to freeze first. And I very quickly hijack my what? Deer in the headlights look reaction to what am I seeing? I turn it into curiosity. I turn it into an observation. And then I work really hard. And this is the hard part. Oh my gosh, did it make my blood boil? I'll be honest. I work really hard to think what the other person might be thinking. Our driveway is on the other side of the house. Do they maybe not realize it's personal property? Because they sure don't look like they do. They are 100% unfazed. They look like owners. Has somebody told them, oh, that Cara and Jeremiah are super nice, I'm sure they won't mind? Possible. We are definitely deeply committed and embedded in our community and thankfully have, I think, pretty decent reputations around town for being kind and generous and helpful. I don't know what they're thinking. And that's ultimately where I landed. I don't know what they're thinking. But that doesn't change the behavior. Here's the thing. Think about your toddlers right now. Think about your preschoolers right now, who just keep doing the same behavior, who keep testing the same boundary over and over and over and over. And every single time you get triggered in any of those 4 ways, it bubbles and boils and gets bigger and bigger. And that ball that they keep throwing at you of energy, it just expands and you add more angst to it until what inevitably happens, the explode, right? You explode. And then you go full fight mode. So, my husband is over there simmering. I am over there processing. Finally, I said to my husband, well, we have to do something. If you let a behavior persist over and over and over, it's not going to change. It's just not. There has to be some type of intervention here. Of course, he went back to his way or the highway, and I was like, nope, okay, we have got to be smart about this. I am the diplomatic one, of course. You can probably just tell from the way I'm thinking and expressing my thought patterns. He's like, you better talk to them. Like, yes, I will. So I walked up and I said, hi, my name's Cara. It's nice to meet you. As they're standing in the middle of my lawn. I stayed in a very calm tone, a very self-aware place. Hey, they said. So we've noticed, my husband and I have noticed that you're using our lawn to train your dog. And they were like, oh, yeah. I said, well, here's the thing. We have a public park, just walkable, right around the corner, really. And we would prefer that you use that to train your dog. We used to have a dog. We don't have a dog anymore. We're not interested in dog poop all over our lawn. Like, I was just very calm and very clear, but I sent the message. I hope kindly, but firmly. Kindly, but firmly. When we think about setting boundaries, behavior boundaries for our toddlers and preschoolers, this is what we have to do. If we just expect that the kid's going to get it together and change their behavior because they read our mind and we don't love it, it's never going to happen. We need to set the boundary and then hold it with kindness. So we really would prefer that you don't use our lawn anymore. Thank you. If you're over there on the park one day training your dog, I'll be sure to come over and say hi. How did they handle it? I actually have no idea, right? In the moment, they were okay, because what are they going to say? They're going to fight, right? Is their reaction going to be a fight reaction on my own property? What did they say to each other after they left? I have no idea. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter. My only job as a conscious, self-aware human is to make sure that I show up as my best self, speak kindly but firmly, and then know that I did what I needed to do. Will I need to hold this boundary again in the future? Likely not. These are adults. They got the message. Your job is a little bit harder. Because when your toddler comes at you and you hold the boundary, they're going to come at you again tomorrow. And you're going to remind them of that boundary kindly and with love and a softer tone than you really want to use. And when your flight and your fight reaction kick in and you want to say things like, what did I tell you yesterday? And why don't you get it? And how is this so hard for you to understand? Like, the rules didn't change. You're going to pull yourself back. You're going to sit in curiosity and observation and just speak the truth. Because even changing your tone will make those sound and feel different. The rules didn't change since yesterday. Ooh, that sounds and feels different, right? This is still the boundary. You are still not having a cookie until after dinner. It's just how it is. The hardest part of all is allowing your little people to process through their big feeling reactions after you set and hold the boundary with kindness and love. They're not adults. This is their practice. They need to go through those series of feelings and emotions. Yes, tantruming is a developmentally normal and actually positive part of your early years with your kids. It's how they understand the rules of that game that is called life and interacting with other people. So there it is. I'll be sure to let you know if this couple comes back, and if they do and I have to hold my boundary, if I change the way I say anything. But I'm pretty confident that I gave myself enough time to hijack the big reaction and respond in a way that has solved the problem and not burned any bridges with some new neighbors. All right, everybody out there who is raising these toddlers and preschoolers, until next episode, stay mindful, stay proactive, and do me a favor. If you like what you hear, if you want to share this with all the people in your caregiving community, please do. And then scroll all the way down to the bottom of your app and hit like, subscribe, whatever your little button tells you, and leave us a rating and a review. The team and I would be so grateful, because the more we hear from you, the more we know what you want to hear.